out here on the little she shed front porch. Just figured I'd start me a fire. Some people might be like, what are you doing? You're starting a fire on the porch? Yep. I built this little stove a couple years ago, and we got an oak floor on this porch. I think solid white oak to put on this porch. Yeah, white oak. So honestly, I ain't had no trouble with it. That being said, it's not something I would do in a house. If I had in a house, I would probably have some kind of rock or the actual little pad and under it. But for what I like to do out here, I just like to build a fire. So I come out here and I build a little fire. The shavings that I showed you earlier, yeah, I get them from, we collect them up from planers. My dad, he's got a pretty good sized planer, 12 inch. We actually have a 24 inch old planer. That thing, I'll get some video of that when we take it out to the farm, because it's actually a, you have to have a power unit to it, like the old sawmills had. So when I get ready to take it out there, I'll definitely get some video of that, because it is, I set it on the back of a 86 one-ton truck, and if anybody knows, those things were sprung, like they had springs, like they can handle some weight. I set it on the back of it, up next to the cab, and it like slammed it out. It was all it wanted. But anyway, we take the shavings off and we save them. We use them for bedding for chickens, or we use my sawdust a lot of times for horses and stuff. But those shavings, man, I mean, we get so much of them whenever we do any kind of planing work. So we put them in old feed stacks and we hang on to them. And whenever we need to start a fire, I mean, it's just perfect. You don't. It saves so much work and hassle to start a fire with. So that's what I use. You know, that's what it's all about, right? Using every little bit you got. But we also had some leftover pine from when my brother built his house, kiln-dried pine, and he was wanting rid of it. So I was like, okay, I'll just take it down there. It's just a little scrap, nothing big. We use this just anywhere to start a fire. It makes good for kindling purposes. And then my actual firewood that I'm burning today is some poplar slabs. Some yellow poplar that I sawed. Actually, it's the siding for this shed. I'll turn you around a little bit here. So like, I sawed all this, and that's what it is. It's some of the slabs that came off of it. The door is poplar. I sawed it myself. I angle cut. I'm trying to show you. I angle cut these so that they would actually tuck up inside of each one. So if any water did get on it, it would just keep running off. It couldn't run back up in there. If you haven't watched the video of where we talk about a tiny house, thinking about using that kind of siding technique, I'm either going to do that or slid on me. I'm either going to do it that way, or I'm going to do something with lap siding, like the old live edge lap siding. I haven't decided yet. If anybody's got any ideas, send me pictures or something, that'd be great. Still kind of back and forth on exactly what we're going to do. The way I done this is I framed it. I used my studs and I built stud walls, and I actually went over top of that on the outside. I didn't actually sheet it. I just took felt paper, like for a roofing felt paper, and I lapped it up to where it would shed water and nailed to it, and then I just sided it with wood siding. It saved me from, I know I was going to put wood siding on it. This stuff's an inch thick. I was never going to have to worry about it. So, and it's a shed. I mean, that kept the wind and stuff out. So we think we're going to do something probably similar to that. We may use like the house wrap Tyvek stuff. when we go to do it. We ain't sure yet. And I've had an idea. I have a lot of those. That I figured I'd put a little video out relating to the whole tiny house, and I figured build a fire and we'd talk about it. So I don't want to build nothing yet as far as to go ahead and construct it until we get our septic done. Well, we're getting a lot of rain, so I don't know when they'll actually come out to do the septic. Even the perk test for the septic, they say it's like 4 to 6 weeks possible, and we just done the paperwork 2 weeks ago now, so we probably got several weeks. So what I'm thinking is building panels, building this in stages, going ahead and figuring out framing the walls in sections, framing the floor in sections, because it's going to have to be 2 sections anyway, 16 by 12s. Put them together and do the walls the same way, so that way when they do done, I can decide where we know where we're going to put it. But I can go ahead and, after that's done and that construction and digging is done and out of the way, then we can set it exactly where we need to set it in order to put a little bathroom in there. We're calling it a tiny house, but in a long-term sense, it's probably going to be more of a very useful large shed. We're basically camping in it. We're not living in this. If you haven't watched that video, go check it out. The whole tiny house thing, we live close to our property, but it's still kind of aggravating to get to if you don't know. And so we're going to build what we're calling a tiny house, a large shed with a bathroom unit in it, so that on my days off work, me, my wife, and everybody can sort of go do that. So yeah. What I was going to talk about is I'm going to build this thing in panels, and what I'm thinking is so that I can start now and go ahead and get rolling with it and just stack the panels up. Go ahead and frame out the walls, go ahead and frame out the floor, and just not sheet anything with, whether it be this or whatever I decide. I'm going to try to saw out every bit of it as well on my mill, or from donated wood from my father-in-law or whoever is willing to give, whatever. We're going to do it. We got a budget, but we're still going to try to do it as cheaply and efficiently as possible. If it's something we need, insulation, stuff like that, we're going to go ahead and do it, because we're probably going to spend a lot of time in it in the sense of camping. That way I can have my whole family over there and we can all actually enjoy it. And what we'll probably do is, once we get that going, if I can build it in panels, then once the septic's done, I can actually set it up and just stand the panels up and attach it, and then go back and sheet. Because I'm thinking, if I can lay down, I got some 6 or 8 mil plastic. I'm going to lay down first, set my floor on top of that, my joists and everything, my framed up floor, squared up. Go ahead and set it on there with the loader and build the full structure skeleton before, like roof and all, before I sheet the wall, or before I sheet the floor. And the reason I'm thinking about doing this is I did it on this one. It's a lot smaller than what we plan on going. But the reason I've done that is so that I could have it fully enclosed, and then I put insulation in the floor. And that way the insulation didn't get wet. The plastic water was in it. We just dried it up, wiped it out, and that plastic acts similar to a mobile home. Mobile home's got a liner in the bottom of it, sort of like a plastic material. I think it might be a little better, but long story short, it's going to keep a lot of stuff out of it. Mice will eat food, I know, but it'll help keep them down from tearing the stuff completely out. Cats is the biggest thing. She wants cats. They will tear that stuff out big time. But if I put me a little like tin or whatever blocking off the around the bottom, that'll help keep them out from under there. So that's what I'm thinking. And if I can do it in panels, I can set them all up. That's the idea. I haven't started actually laying them out. I've laid out a little bit on paper. We've got a rough floor plan of how we want it to be, because there's not going to be 3 rooms is like total. There's going to be a little room for me and her, sort of a master bedroom, I guess you'd say, but just a place for our bed. And then the kids is going to have Jackson. He's getting up old enough now. Probably going to do a bunk bed or something for him built into the actual cabin. He picked out one last night that he liked. So, and my little girl, I mean, she's still in a crib, so, I mean, she'll be probably moving to a bed that she can get in and out of here in the next year or so, but for the time being, we're good on her. And then a bathroom, and then a sort of living kitchen area, common area, just a place to get in and out of the weather, and sort of relax as a family after a day of work, of whatever we decide to do. And that way we can work on the house on days that we're maybe holding off on the house for whatever reason. We may be waiting on a inspection, or waiting on wood to dry, or waiting on concrete truck, or waiting on cinder block, or just whatever. I mean, there's all times something that you're waiting on sometimes. And sometimes you just burn out. You just don't want to work on it. You know, you get to a certain point where it's safe to say, okay, we're going to take a break for, you know, a couple weeks. We can, and we're not in any kind of rush. We want to start building fenced off lots, because we're going to rotate a lot of stuff out. So if we can start getting fenced off lots, and we might be able to start bringing the cows, a couple cows down. If we can bring those down for a good little pasture, that'll help keep certain bits of the pasture clean. They're sort of minimal as far as you don't need to keep your eye on them all the time. The hawks ain't gonna carry them off, generally speaking. Be some big hawks, boy. So yeah, our chickens, on the other hand, we're gonna have to enclose their lot because we do got hawks over there, and that's the reason for that comment. So we're either going to build sort of large chicken tractors, or maybe a pen on wheels of some sort, which I guess we'd call it a chicken tractor too, but just bigger to where you know, it's an actual chicken pen type deal. Something like that we're going to do. Maybe grow some little bit of garden. That way she can we can have fresh foods and stuff out there whenever we got it placed. Because we're going to put in our tiny house, we want to put a little camper stove or whatever in it. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Still pretty early in the planning stages, but I think the whole panel idea might be something to work on, because I could start doing it now if it at least holds off on the rain. It has rained. Anybody that's watched like the East Coast area here in North Carolina, or any of y'all that might be in North Carolina, y'all know, man, has it rained. It is so muddy. You can't even walk into a grassy yard without like sinking. So it's just, that's nature for you, I guess. We'll probably be complaining that it's dry in the summertime, knowing our luck, but it is what it is. Don't guess we can complain about it too much. Could be worse. A lot of people out in the U.S. right now are having some major freezes. We pray for y'all, seriously. For y'all, your animals, your homesteads, all that. Yeah, I mean, we got water to contend with, but for the most part, you know, that deep freezes can really put hurting on the animals and stuff. So yeah. But there's our idea. I just figured I'd sit down by the fire out here on the porch and kind of break down what we was thinking about. Give y'all something to watch against my beautiful face. So yeah, see y'all next time.